Good afternoon, October the 3rd, 2023. I'm hoping everybody's having a great Tuesday out there so far. Everybody has a great Tuesday afternoon. Hope everybody continues to stay safe and well and also enjoy the weather because it's the only weather you got. Okay, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the tropics here across the tropical Atlantic. Also, we're going to try to talk about Tropical Storm Philippe, which is located in the eastern Caribbean Sea and continuing to push on off to the west still further than what models were predicting. Also, we're going to take a look at the National Hurricane Center. Information on Philippe too in that video. Also, we're going to look at an advisory map. Also, we're going to take a look at the Storm Prediction Center outlook for today and also for Wednesday. And also, we're going to take a look at the 7-day rainfall total at the end of this broadcast. So stick around to the entire video and do not miss a beat of this forecast. All right, as you can see here, we're going to start off with Philippe. But first, before we do that, if you have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and consider subscribing. Love to have you. Like these videos, share these videos, and let's go ahead and get the show on the road here, folks. Alright, you can see here we got a strong cold front extending from the north central tropical Atlantic, extending all the way back down into the Bahamas, also back down into portions of the northwestern Caribbean Sea. Got a little system here down in the western Gulf of Mexico. Here's Philippe right here in the eastern Caribbean Sea. Slowly continue to push on off to the west. I would not be surprised to see this system maybe move to the west a little more before it finally makes its turn. So you guys in Puerto Rico need to watch out for this system. I would not be surprised this system may affect Puerto Rico as well. Maybe far west as the Dominican Republic. So if anybody in the Dominican Republic, also in the Puerto Rico, it looks like it's going to may shift a little bit further westward. It would with time it would continue to move west. So just keep that in mind, folks. All right, we got another little system here coming off the African coast. Looks kind of suspicious to me. Tropical. But also we got some activity down in the Bahamas, like I said, Cuba and over the Gulf of Mexico, and also got more activity in the Eastern Pacific. Got a little upper level spin in the upper level of the atmosphere. Got a cold front dragging, extending from all the way down from North Dakota all the way down into portions of Texas. It would continue to drag on off to the east with time, but continue to fall apart as high pressure remains in charge of the Mississippi River Valley all the way to the east coast of the United States. Alright, now let's move on to Philippe. As you can see here, it's in the eastern Caribbean Sea. Here is the Leeward Islands here where the system moved through earlier this morning and last night. Brought some copious amount of rain, some mudslides, and also some gusty wind. Here's Puerto Rico here. The system getting a little bit closer to you guys, so I would not be surprised you guys in Puerto Rico may get some activity off of this system if it continues to push on off to the west. Take a look at the forecast cone by the National Hurricane Center, but right now it's not going. This storm is not going with the National Hurricane Center forecast cone right now. It keeps continuing to push on off to the west. But we'll keep like I said, last night, yesterday, I said we'll continue back to the west, and it has been continuing to shift back to the west, just as I've been predicting. Alright, as you can see here, the current position of the storm is located near the northern Leeward Island. Here's the tropical storm wind field in the yellow. According to the National Hurricane Center, it will not become a hurricane and remain a tropical storm as it heads towards pretty much the same area that I think Adelia affected, and also Ophelia also affected that area too. Mainly Adelia affected this area and looked like it may head that there storm, and also Lee as well also affected this region as well. And look like Philippe tracking this system in home is located near latitude 18.9 north, longitude 63.9 west. Maximum sustained winds are near 45 miles an hour with higher gusts. Moving is to the northwest at 10 miles an hour. Still classified as tropical storm with winds of 39 to 73 miles per hour. Let's take it. All right, here's the current position of the storm. Some of the model takes it this way. Some of the model keeps it, like I said, further back to the west. I would not be surprised. Like I say, it may continue to move west if this storm continues to keep going westward across the eastern Caribbean Sea, also the northern Leeward Islands, Puerto Rico. You may get affected over towards Haiti, and the Dominican Republic may get affected by this system as well if it continues to shift further and further to the west. I think the reason why there's a high pressure ridge over the kind of to the north of it is kind of building back west. It's pushing this system back further west than what the model's been projecting. You know, projecting that. Can't get my words out there, folks. Sorry about that. All right, now let's take a look at the intensity guidance of this system. As you can see here, it's the tropical storm force winds of about 40 knots, equal up to about 45 miles per hour. All the model now consistent with just keeping it a tropical storm. One takes it almost to a category 1 hurricane. The other one, very, very strong tropical storm. But right now, I mentioned something yesterday. This storm could remain a tropical storm. When I seen the intensity guided going down, I would not be surprised it remains a tropical storm, and it looked like it may look like a tropical storm force wind gust remains a possibility. All right, could it become a hurricane? Possibility. All right, well, let's take a look. That was your tropical update. Now let's move on to the Watches Warning Advisory map. All right, as you can see, we got the coastal flood advisory for South Carolina, down in southeast Georgia, east coast of Florida, also around the east coast of Louisiana, southeast Louisiana. Gale warnings extending up here across eastern North Carolina, from South Carolina down to the west coast of Florida. Also the same over here in portions of Mississippi, back into southern Louisiana. And gale warning is also in effect for West California all the way up to Oregon. Also, we got freeze watches in effect for portions of New Mexico and also in Colorado. Winter weather advisory for western portion of Wyoming, also southwestern Montana. Flood advisory there as well in eastern Montana. Wind advisory there also. And also, that's pretty much it. Alright, still got special weather statements for central Alaska, around the Alaska area. Coastal areas got gale warnings. Hawaii and Chain Island looks A-OK. Alright. Storm Prediction Center time. This is today's outlook. General thunderstorm for east coast of Florida to the Florida Keys, from Texas all the way to Minnesota, as far west as portions of Idaho and Montana, and also Wyoming. Marginal risk over the Dakotas. Same from Minnesota back down to Texas. Light risk from West Texas all the way to portions of South Dakota. Enhanced risk over portions of Kansas and Nebraska. All right, if you live in Canary, Nebraska, Dodge City, Kansas, Hastings, Nebraska, Hayes, Kansas, and Great Bend, Kansas. You're in enhanced risk for severe weather this afternoon. If you live in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Midland, Texas, Odessa, Texas, Sioux City, Iowa, and Salina, Kansas, slight risk for severe weather this afternoon. Omaha, Nebraska, Wichita, Kansas, Lincoln, Nebraska, Lubbock, Texas, Abilene, Texas, marginal risk for severe weather coming up this afternoon. All right, we have a tornado risk for 2% to 5% and 2% in green, 5% in brown. If you live in Canary, Nebraska, Hastings, Nebraska, Hayes, Kansas, Great Bend, Kansas, 5% risk, 2% Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Sioux City, Iowa, Salina, Kansas, Grand Island, Nebraska, Dodge City, Kansas, 2% risk for a tornado this afternoon. All right, damaging winds. Let's take a look at the hail probability too. All right, we'll get to that in a minute. All right, damaging winds. 5% to Hutchinson, Kansas, and surrounding areas, including Grand Island, Nebraska, Salina, Kansas, and Sioux City, Iowa. Also 5% include Omaha, Nebraska, to Wichita, Texas. Include Abilene, Texas, Lincoln, Nebraska, and Wichita, Kansas as well. Alright, large hail, 5% up here in the Dakotas. Same for Minnesota, back down, 15%. We have a significant area for severe large hail, over 2 inches in diameter. This pretty much includes, we're going to do significant area. This includes Grand Island, Nebraska, Canary, Nebraska, Dodge City, Kansas, Hastings, Nebraska, Hayes, Kansas. 30% Canary, Nebraska, Dodge City, Kansas, Hastings, Nebraska, Hayes, Kansas, and Great Bend, Kansas. Alright, 15% Sioux City, South Dakota, Midland, Texas, Odessa, Texas, Salina, Kansas, Grand Island, Nebraska, and 5% Omaha, Nebraska, all the way through Abilene, Texas, including Lubbock, Texas, Lincoln, Nebraska, and Wichita, Kansas. That's for large hail this afternoon. All right, now let's move on to your Wednesday forecast. All right, as you can see here, we got general thunderstorm from the Great Lakes region all the way down to much of Texas, also in the southeast New Mexico, southeast Georgia, through much of Florida, Florida Keys. We have a slight risk and a marginal risk down across Texas and Oklahoma. All right, we live in Lubbock, Texas, Wichita Falls, Texas, Lawton, Oklahoma, Duncan, Oklahoma, Atlas, Oklahoma. Slight risk for severe weather on Wednesday. If you live in Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Arlington, Texas, Plano, Texas, marginal risk for severe weather on Wednesday. Tornado probability 2% over Texas and Oklahoma. This includes Lubbock, Texas, Wichita Falls, Texas, Lawton, Oklahoma, Atlas, Oklahoma, and Bennett, Texas. Damaging winds. Let's see, damaging wind. We'll go to damaging winds first. This is 15% Lubbock, Texas, all the way to Atlas, Oklahoma, and surrounding area. 5% Dallas, Texas, all the way to Plano, Texas, and surrounding areas for 5% risk for damaging wind. Large hail on Wednesday. This pretty much covers the significant area and the 15% risk. Will include Lubbock, Texas, Lawton, Oklahoma, Wichita Falls, Texas, Atlas, Oklahoma, Burke Burnett, Texas, Snyder, Texas, and also Atlas, Oklahoma, and Burnett, Texas for 15% risk as well. If you're in the 5%, this includes Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Arlington, Texas, and Plano, Texas for large hail. Well, we'll take a sneak peek at tomorrow's forecast. We only got general thunderstorms, and then we'll take a look at the rainfall totals across the nation. All right, general thunderstorms, like I said, from the Great Lakes, same from Michigan, all the way back to Texas and Louisiana for your Thursday. All right, here's the rainfall totals. Heavy precipitation over here in the Pacific Northwest, back down into southeast Canada, all the way back into Washington, Oregon State, a little bit in Northern California. The heavy precipitation also across northern Mexico, the Gulf of Mexico, sniffing out maybe some kind of tropical system may move in and bring copious amount of precipitation over Texas, all the way up into portions of Missouri. Also more heavy precipitation over South Canada, Southeast Canada as well. Lighter amounts in the green. And the clear areas here from portion of Virginia to the Carolinas, portion of Florida and Georgia and Alabama. No precipitation expected over the next 7 days. Also, we have heavy precipitation extending from the Bahamas all the way up into southeast Canada, including Maine, all the way back in a portion of Pennsylvania with some heavy precipitation there as well. All right. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Hope everybody continue to stay safe and well. Enjoy the weather because it's the only weather you got. Like these videos, share these videos. Consider subscribing if you have not. We'll catch you back in the next video. So have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday afternoon, folks. Take care.